Right, the next example that we're going to talk about in section 10.4 is we're going to talk about our fixed installment loans. So what we have here is an installment payment formula. We're going to use this payment and formula in this section, and we're also going to use it in the next section as well. So this is definitely something that, again, clearly looking at this is not something that I expect for you to memorize. There's multiple sets of parentheses, multiple repeats of variables, positive signs, negative signs, multiplication, division. There's just a lot going on in this formula. All right, so, but we do kind of want to talk a little bit about this, show how this can be used, and then I'm also going to go through and explain how we can plug this into a calculator, hopefully pretty quickly and pretty easily to get our desired result. Okay, so our formula, m equals p times r over n, and then in the bottom we have 1 minus 1 plus r over n. Notice that there is a negative sign in front of here, so it does look kind of similar or related to our compound interest formula, but obviously there's a lot more different pieces here that we're looking at. Again, you do not need to memorize this formula, we just need to know how to use it, which is what we're going to work on in that next example. You are purchasing new furniture with a cost of $2,100. The furniture store has advertised a finance option of no down payment and a 9% APR for 36 months. Kind of a similar, or not similar, common type of deal that we might see advertised. Right? No down payment and a certain percentage rate for a certain amount of time. Determine the monthly payment and the finance charge. Okay. So first we're going to have to find the monthly payment. So I'm going to go ahead and copy down my monthly payment formula from the previous page. So m equals, up top here, we have p times r over n, and then down in the bottom, we have 1 minus 1 plus r over n to the negative n times t power. Right, and all of that is down in our denominator. Again, definitely kind of a messy looking formula here. All right, so let's start listing off what we know. Our P, our original cost, our principal, $2,100. Right? Our R, our interest rate is 9%, 0.09. Our T, our time, we're thinking in years here. So we have 36 months divided by 12 months per year, right? We have 3 years. And our N, because it's a monthly payment, we're going to use an N of 12. Right? So we're going to use this information, and again, we're going to use our installment payment formula that we have copied right here. All right, so I'm going to start plugging all of these different pieces in. All right, so up top, 2,100 times r divided by n, 0.09 divided by 12. Right, then down in the bottom, 1 minus 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12 to the negative 12 times 3. Right. And then we want to calculate this to give us an answer. Okay, so as we've seen in other sections, again, as I'll include some other stuff posted online as well for resources. We're going to plug this all into our calculator, and we're going to do it all in one big step. So the more we can do stuff in one step and avoid rounding in between, the more accurate answers we're going to get. So what we see down here, again, is a very step-by-step explanation of what we're going to plug in. Remember this y to the x key. We can also use our caret button. Right, so I'm going to work on going through and plugging all of this in. I'm just trying to figure out how to make all of this fit on our screen. So here's that, but then we can't really see. Here we go. This will maybe kind of work, hopefully. All right, so we're going to turn our calculator on here. All right, and then we're going to start with this piece right here. All of these parentheses that I have written in here, we want to make sure we use. So when in doubt, the more parentheses, the better. Right, so 2,100, right, times another set of parentheses, 0.09 divided by 12. Since we started with 2 parentheses, we do need 2 to close this off. Right, so do notice that there are 2 parentheses right next to each other here. So far we've got that typed in there. All right, then we're going to put our division symbol, and then we're going to start another set of parentheses for this whole entire bottom part. Right? So wherever we see parentheses in our problem, we're going to put them, and we do kind of have an invisible extra set of parentheses around this top part that we just typed in. All right, now 1 minus, now we're here or here. We've got another set of parentheses. 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12. Then we're going to close that off for that end here, that one there. Then we're going to use our y to the x or our caret button for the exponent. Then we're going to start another set of parentheses, and in that next set of parentheses we're going to type negative. Your negative is on your scientific calculator. Make sure you don't use this minus here because that's not going to work. You want to use this negative down here. Same thing is true on your graphing calculator. Negative is in pretty much the same spot if you're using a TI calculator. So we're going to do negative, right, so we get that nice little negative sign in there, negative 12 times 3, and then we are going to close off that parentheses. But notice that we still have one more big parentheses, so just like we did in the top part of our formula, we do have, it's kind of shaded here, 2 parentheses that we're going to do here. So we're going to add one more parentheses to that. Then we're going to hit our enter button. All right, and we get 66.77943859. Right, again, we're thinking money. So we don't want a zillion decimal places like we have here. A zillion isn't really a number, but just for emphasis, we want to cut this off. So we're going to keep our $66, and we're going to round this. That 9 is going to make that 7 go up. So we have $66.78. All right, next we're going to find our finance charge. All right, so when we're finding our finance charge, remember this was written in example C on the previous page, in our previous example video. Our finance charge equals the total paid minus the selling price. All right, so the selling price is easy. The original price was $2,100. To find our total paid, well, we're going to use our monthly payment and how many payments we made, 36 months. So we are going to take 36 times 66.78, and then we're going to subtract our selling price of $2,100. We multiply 2404.08 minus 2,100, and we get a finance charge of $304.08. So depending on the type of problem that we're looking at, we may be asked to simply find our amount of payment, but in this case we're asked to find our monthly payment, which we used our formula for, and then our finance charge, which is always going to be our total paid minus our selling price. Right? In this case, in order to find that total paid, we did need to do a multiplication to begin with that.